Greetings and salutations, family. Here we are for another Therapy Tuesday. Pastor Shamara here. How y'all doing? I know it's not, this should be lit. He's on a sabbatical, but you got me. Hey, y'all. Assistant pastor in the building. Hey, a place where love never expires. LFRCI. Don't you love it? I love this shirt, y'all. I hope y'all doing well tonight. Please bring out your pen, your pads, your computer, your tablets, your laptops. Take some notes. Therapy Tuesday tonight is talking about back to structure, not burnout. Healthy rhythms versus chaotic productivity. But before we begin, I'm going to start with a word of prayer. All right, dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you. We honor you. We thank you for those that are tuning in on tonight and are open to receive something tangible through this Therapy Tuesday. God, I just ask that you open up their spirits, open up their minds to receive something tangible from you. We always want you to be in the midst of us. So, God, we just thank you, we praise you, and we honor. In Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen. All right, y'all. I'm so excited. Miss Janae is going to be on here teaching us some good stuff about being back to structure, not burning out. Some healthy tools to get us on the path of being balanced. Okay, I need balance. I don't know about y'all, so I'm tuning in too to listen. So, Janae, where you at? Where you at?
Hey, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Um, I am back and this is exciting. And I want to talk about back to structure, not burnout, healthy rhythms versus chaotic productivity, something we all need. I'm going to be preaching to myself. I'm going to tell on myself today. As always, welcome back to Therapy Tuesdays. We appreciate your support and your presence. We are the bridge between the church and the couch. You need Jesus and you need a therapist. Um, I want to invite you at this time to give. Your giving helps us to stay online and use the resources that we have available. You will bless this ministry effort to grow. So, if it's not robbery and you can afford to sow a seed into what we're doing, we ask that you sow and know that it's going to come back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You can give through Apple Pay or Givelify. Also, get your merch. I forgot I had me a new shirt I was supposed to wear today, and I did forget, but I still got on merch. I got on my Therapy Tuesday, my Heather Gray sweater, and it's an overcast today in Florida, so I don't look too crazy with my my sweater on today. But if you want to get some merch to support us, there's a discount code LFRCI 15, get 15% off. And I have some recommendations for success per usual. Stay present with me. Participate. Let's have a good conversation. Don't leave me and Pastor Shamari here talking just alone. This does not replace therapy or any recommendations that your mental health professional or doctor has recommended. These are just tools. Please take notes. And I'm going to add something. Share with somebody else. When we share things, it seals it in our minds and we can live it out a little bit better. So share what you hear tonight. Don't be stingy. Don't keep it to yourself. If I trigger you, it's not my intent. Please take care of yourself. If I say something and your nervous system is on fire, go get some water, take a break. We'll be back next month. You are important to us. Take care of yourself. Today's objective, we want to learn how to get back into a healthy rhythm without burning ourselves out by creating simple routines, relying less on motivation. You heard that right? And focusing your time and energy on what actually matters. Not what you think matters, not what feels important, but what is actually important. I want to help you find your rhythm, not your hustle. We are all experts at hustling and bustling, but we don't know how to find healthy structure and rhythms. And it's kind of hard to do that because it requires a set of skills that a lot of us don't have. We got to be able to see, we got to be mindful. And it takes a state of rest to be able to get some clarity and be able to see some things. So, a healthy rhythm requires you knowing when to move. So timing is important. It requires you to know when to slow down. So you got to know how fast, how slow to go. You got to catch a tempo. You got to know when to say no, when to rest, and when something is good enough. You got to know when it's good enough, and you don't have to keep fighting and working and stressing and hustling. So you got to know those things. I want to start tonight with a little bit of validation. So, right now it's August. For me, August is always a bit of a stressful month. It's a lot of changes. The kids are going back to school, the traffic patterns change, my life shifts a little bit, and I feel a little off myself. Maybe you two feel off. Maybe you don't have children, but you see the traffic patterns, or it's just a lot of change and turnover in August. And I want to validate us because we all are going through an adjustment period. Transitions are draining and they are hard. And I don't think we pause to recognize we're in a transition phase. And whenever you're in a transition phase, you have to acknowledge that it's going to be harder. It's going to be a little bit more stressful. Transitions are not supposed to be easy and smooth. That's why they take time. And in clinical work, we call it adjustment disorder. So, returning to school, work, we have busier schedules, multiple adjustments at once. Our sleep and wake times are different. Family schedules become more complicated. You got to take kids back to practice and they after school more. You have work demands that might increase. Transportation and childcare require coordination. You jumping all over the place. There are more deadlines and time sensitive responsibilities. Personal time may suddenly decrease, less and less time for yourself. The brain has to make more decisions throughout the day. We call that decision fatigue. You sick and tired of making decisions. I want you to honor that you are in a transition phase and you have to give yourself some time to adjust. It's not supposed to be easy. And with that being said, I want you to resist survival mode. Because it's not easy and it's something new, you will automatically trigger your trauma response. I don't want you going into any season in survival mode because survival mode tells you that everything is urgent, everything is an emergency. So you can't even transition and think with clarity and wisdom because you're automatically in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, there is no wisdom. You think of the quickest way to solve the toughest problems. They're not always effective. They're on a whim. You're very self gratifying. You're all over the place, and it's exhausting. So, as you are preparing yourself for more balance, we got to be mindful to know, are we in survival mode? If you are in survival mode when you're in a transitional season, it's going to make it 10 times more impactful. So resist survival mode. I know it's easier to say that than to live it out. I know you can't help it. Your body gonna throw you into survival mode. But when you notice, try to calm yourself and relax yourself. The best thing you can do when you're overwhelmed and in this rut is to learn to relax. That's deep breathing, stretching, a 30-minute walk in the evening, but you have to learn to relax or your brain is gonna go on go and keep thinking of things to do and problems to solve. All right.
Janae,
Yes, ma'am.
wait a minute. Wait. Slow down. You said a lot. You said a lot. You in my life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma response because of adjustments and transition. That's where I am. But you know what I'm realizing? Because I don't like change.
We don't
Change
like
is
it.
difficult. It's very difficult. But I've been in transition a lot of my life, so I've never had the opportunity to adapt to spaces long enough. Because I'm always transitioning, even
Mm-hmm.
as a child, I had to adapt to living with my aunt. My parents were deceased. So it's just like I don't get a chance to adapt to environment. I'm in a new environment. I had to move back to my hometown, to be close to the church, which is wonderful. But now I'm about to be a kindergarten teacher in a space I've never been
Mm-hmm.
around people I've never met before. So I'm just like, Lord, public schools compared to child care facilities, it can be stressful. I see what the drain is, but I didn't know that it aligned with trauma. That's what it is.
Yeah, that
Help
listen,
us.
the brain likes predictability. Like and
Okay.
change is unpredictable. Like the area
Yeah.
that you're stepping into, you don't know. you've never
Right.
been there. But one of our pastors said this Sunday, and I keep thinking about it. I've been thinking about it all week. He said, "A faith that isn't tested can't be trusted."
Oh,
So
that's good.
we have to, move in faith in these areas that we can't see. Like we got to let our faith precede us, and that is easy to do, but hard when you don't know that's how you need to be moving. So,
Right.
in this season, it resonates with me when I'm facing a season where I'm afraid or uncomfortable. I'm literally leaning into my faith because that's all I have. I have nothing else. We cannot go to the future and control it and change it, but I know someone who can. So
Right.
that's how I've been handling it. And then going back to a clinical perspective, um, sometimes during transitions or when things happen in your life, there's a version of you that was created that is a protector of you. This
Absolutely.
version of you, we call it the inner child, or we may call it the inner something, but I'm saying it's a version of you. She will come in and protect you, and part of her protecting you is, wait a minute, that's something new. Let me scope this out and see if this gonna
Mhm.
hurt us. See if we're gonna be safe here. See if we're gonna thrive here. See if the thing we imagine is gonna happen. And if something is a little off, she's gonna come. She's gonna protect you. She's gonna tell you no, don't go that way, or stop, or this is safe. So it really is a built-in protective factor, and sometimes we are bringing a shield to a thumb fight, and we have to recognize when that's happening and try to have our bodies to relax.
So that's where that's good. But this is I understand why it's hard for me to trust too because of that survival mode. Just from
Absolutely.
childhood. So I'm chiseling away little by
Mhm.
little that wall that I have built up because of life experiences. But I believe tonight is really going to free me and help me
Beautiful.
in this next season of my life. So yeah, this is great.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And you're not
Yes,
alone.
ma'am.
I've been there. I go in and out of it. So you're not alone. Um, let's look at, and cut me off again if you need to, structure versus overscheduling. And y'all, I don't know if my chat is not on, but I'm not seeing many comments. Am I on the comments tonight? Oh, now I see it. Uh-huh. Change is difficult, but change is good. It's something I'm learning. Yes. I don't think nobody likes change. Nobody likes change. The brain doesn't like change. I knew something was off. I knew y'all was talking to us. So, structure versus over scheduling. Yes. Listen, we are doing too much. We're just doing too much. Healthy structure, it creates predictability, it reduces unnecessary decisions, it helps important tasks happen consistently. Important tasks, not the ones that feel important, but the ones that are actually important. And it includes flexibility. Structure has flexibility. That means when something changes, you can regulate yourself after the change. Your bounce back game is quick. Change might be uncomfortable, but once you settle within yourself and pay attention to your values, you should be able to regulate pretty easily once you're triggered by a change. Um, it includes recovery time, and it makes responsibilities easier to manage. That's what structure. These are the gifts of having structure. Let's look at what overscheduling does. It fills nearly every available hour. Just because your hour is open doesn't mean you should be available. Sometimes you need to rest. Sometimes you need to recalibrate. You cannot recalibrate and get clarity with every hour of your day belonging to something. It treats everything as urgent, leaves little room for unexpected events. Like you can't even do something you didn't plan because it wasn't already on your mental to do list. But you're missing out on fun and spontaneity because you have tunnel vision about how your day and your life should look. It creates guilt when the schedule changes. It prioritizes productivity over wellness. So you value doing more than actually doing what you need to do to be well. It requires constant energy to maintain. So, structure versus overscheduling. On one hand, there's a sense of balance and calm, and on the other hand, there is a sense of chaos. Um, You don't have to tell me, but I can imagine that a lot of us are spending a lot of time in overscheduling. And I'll tell you, I'm walking a middle path right now between overscheduling and structure. I'm minimizing my life. I'm saying no. I'm not showing up to everything. And it's been such a blessing. So I want y'all to answer this in the chat for me. Does your schedule, think about your life before you just answer this. Does your schedule create stability or pressure for you? Is your to do list your bully? Or is your to do list like a companion? Some of the agendas, they call them a day runner, or sometimes they'll call planners assistants. Is your schedule assisting the life that you want to live? Or is it just another burden? Like every time you think about your to do list, you feel burdened and burn out and almost like you want to avoid it. Which one is it?
This is good, but I feel like I'm telling all my business. I am one that
Oh,
operates. It's good though, because it's gonna free somebody. Hopefully, 'cause I know it's freeing me. I am an organized chaos type person. So yeah, I've had multiple planners. I don't really utilize them. I may have wrote in them like once or twice, but avoidance. I avoid it because of the overwhelming pressure of it all, knowing I had to do this. But in the same breath, I need it to go back to see, oh, this is coming up. And I really need to get a handle on it, especially going to this new environment, this new school, because the processes, the procedures are not going to be the same as what I once knew. So right now it feels like pressure, but I want to get to a place of stability, if I'm honest. So maybe you can help me get there. Huh?
yeah. Well, somebody put something in the comments. They said, I have to learn to say no.
Ooh.
Schedule in my planner for self care. And that's, we're coming up in here. Yes, say no. Um, Here's the deal: when you're in survival mode, you don't see that you're doing too much, and
Right.
you need to. So here's the formula: I need to rest to get the clarity to see what I need to stop doing. So the first step is to rest. You got to give
Mm.
yourself permission to rest so you can see. You are not going to unoverwhelm yourself while you're in the middle of overwhelm. And I think that is where we mess up. Because what ends up happening, we don't realize it. When you're in survival mode and you're burnt out and you're trying to resolve and fix that, you become neurotic about how to fix the burnout. So now not only are you in survival mode because of triggers, but now the actual survival mode is the trigger, and you're still trying to get out of survival mode by using survival mode strategies. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So really, it's a reoccurring door. It's just a cycling door, and it's a pattern, and you're gonna keep at it. The only way to really get out of it is opposite action. It's one of the therapeutic skills that I teach. If I want the opposite of what I've been getting, I have to do the opposite of what I always do. If you're always on the go, you're always overthinking, you're always trying to figure out what's next. If your to-do list is overcrowded, rest, stop. Don't add anything else to it. Really slow down.
I want to read this question, Christopher
Okay.
Jackson, and that was good what you said. Slow down, take a pause, and I'm learning how to do that. He says, "What happens when that's just the flow of your life? Because every dynamic requires the same version of you." Wow,
Wow.
that's
You know,
that's. Whew.
I'm not going to answer that question directly, but I was talking to one of my therapist friends yesterday or today, and we said some people will die in the wilderness and not even know it.
Mm,
Some people, the way that they live their life, because it's been beneficial to them, they don't see it as problematic. And that's the problem with burnout. Everybody benefits from it, including you.
mm-hmm.
So no one, you don't want to stop it. You've been bringing home money, the kids get taken care of, things get done, but you are breaking down on the inside. You are breaking down on the inside. And because the money in the account is going up, the titles are rolling in, the accolades are coming in. That's the season I'm in. I'm at a season where I get a lot of awards and I get a lot of invitations. But I am now at a place where I have to say no. It's great to be recognized, but it's not worth my mental health and my wellness. It isn't worth it. I benefit from that. It's so validating to get a award. It's validated to be invited somewhere to teach or to speak, but I don't have the capacity for that. And I'm finally emotionally mature enough to say, I don't have the capacity for that. And it's okay. It doesn't make me weak. In fact, it's been making me more focused. It's been making me more balanced. It's been making me have more clarity.
Can I just piggyback off of that? Because what you said was capacity. Um, and understanding your capacity of something that I learned from being in therapy for the small amount of time that I was, I had to listen to my body
Mm-hmm.
and how your body responds to certain things. If you're becoming overwhelmed, frustrated, or you just cannot seem to gather your bearings, you have to ask yourself, is this something that you have the capacity for? Or do you, like you said, do you need to take a pause?
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And if I'm honest, because transparency helps, I'm learning to do that. Take a pause, take a breath, and just, all right, what's going on? Let me look around. Is it really more than what I'm deeming it to be, or am I in my head? So capacity.
And
That's the word for the year.
survival mode will make you think that you can control your capacity.
Ooh.
Your capacity comes from your nervous system. Your
Yeah.
nervous system tells you how much you can handle. And guess what? You don't control that because that has
Ooh.
environmental and biological components. You don't know where your hormone levels are or how much you can take. Sometimes you may have a vitamin deficiency that may impact how much you can handle.
Mm.
You can't instantly change that, and you don't even always know that's the case. Sometimes your energy is depleted and it impacts your capacity. But we think survival mode says you can control capacity, and we try to bully our nervous system into handling more. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't matter how much you say you're not good enough if you don't get this done, how much you believe you're a failure. Your body is like, we're that's it. I saw Audrey say, when she's tired, she stops. That's it. When you're done, you're done. Capacity comes from your nervous system. You can influence it. You can take better care of yourself, and it will definitely give you more space. But when you're at capacity, that's it. And I think that's great that your therapist taught you how to pay attention to your body and slow down. That's really how you determine how much you can handle, by paying attention to your body. All right. So here's the thing that I put in my objective. I said, yes, I said it right. Let's talk about the myth of motivation. Here's the myth. I need to feel motivated before I can get started. That is the myth. I talk about this all the time, everywhere I go. The reality is that motivation naturally rises and falls. Naturally, similar to our nervous system. Mood affects how motivated we feel. Our moods. Stress and fatigue can reduce your motivation. Waiting for motivation can increase procrastination. So while you waiting on your motivation to come in to start this structured routine, you procrastinating. Procrastination is putting space between you and a perceived threat or discomfort. So the longer you wait on motivation, the longer you get to achieve your goal. And the longer you stay where you at and you're not moving. The longer you stay stuck. So a lot of people are stuck. It's because you're waiting on motivation. Starting a task can sometimes create motivation. Sometimes getting started helps you to feel better. I know for me, like when I start another new diet, the first couple of days I'm very motivated because I just started it. Repetition makes behavior easier over time. It's not just about motivation, it's about your habits, it's about what you're focusing on, it's about what you're choosing to do. Um, and I'm going to read a comment. It says, the way I pack to motivate myself is romanticize my duties and even the things I wear in order to be able to function to get through the day. The way I pack. Okay, like going for a trip. Okay. And I saw something that is ADHD the same as uncontrollable survival mode? I think so. I think that's a good reframe and way to look at it. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Not packed. Okay, thanks for clarity. I'll try to reread it. The way I not packed to motivate myself is romanticize my duties and even the things I will. I'll wait till you give me clarity, Terry, and I'll come back and read it. Um, all right. So there's a myth in motivation. You don't need it to get your life in order. It is a lie. It's not true. In fact, a lot of the things we do don't require motivation. I got an example for you. Motivation really is a bonus. It is not a plan. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not wake up saying things like, I feel deeply inspired to brush my teeth today. We don't do that. But you brush your teeth every day. You just do it. That is the power of routine. The more things you make automatic, the fewer things you have to convince yourself to do. So we need to get into a system of doing things so that way we don't have to overthink and over process about it. A lot of times we're overthinking and over processes because we lack a plan, we lack structure. So we need to replace do I feel like doing things with what's the next thing I normally do. So before I got on therapy Tuesday tonight, I bathed my girls. I sent an email to the church because we have Family Emphasis Month coming up, and that's a big deal. I made their dinner. It's Taco Tuesday, so I sauteed up their turkey for their tacos. I picked them up from school. I looked over what I wanted to talk about tonight, and I was in my body and I was relaxed because these are things that I am focusing on doing, and this is what I normally do when I'm doing a therapy Tuesday night. I am building a new routine and a new structure. It was not always this easy. There were times my nervous system would be on fire. There would be a sense of urgency. It would not be organized. I get to leave Tuesday, therapy Tuesday, go home and relax, and my children will be in the bed asleep because of how I settled in my body. I created a process that will help me be successful. And here's a nugget for you: you don't need the motivation, but you do need current systems to help make the next moment better. When you're in survival mode, you're usually hyper focused on what you need to be doing right now that has nothing to do with setting your life up for the next moment. It's all about safety right now, comfort right now, what feels good right now. And I'm going to talk about that. So, your routine really should be making your life easier. Sometimes we create routines that require another routine just to recover from them. It's kind of like that survival mode that we use to try to help us in our survival mode. Our routines have routines, and we are just all over the place. Healthy structure should reduce your decisions. You have less chaos, less forgetfulness. You should be able to remember your routines. No last minute rushing, or you have less of that. I don't want to say no. Less mental clutter, less unnecessary stress. So we're stressed out because we don't have routines. We're like a leaf blowing in the wind all over the place. Routine can actually be rest. I heard this on an Instagram video and I can't unhear it. Routine is rest, rest is routine. Routine can actually be rest. Rest is not having to think. That's it. Did you guys recognize that? Rest is not necessarily the absence of activity. It's doing an activity that doesn't require your cognition to be fully activated all the time. That is rest. You don't have to overthink. Like meal prepping can create rest. I cook on Sunday, I cook about 3 meals. I don't gotta think about what's for lunch, right? Picking clothes out in the night before you go to bed can help create rest. You took about 30 minutes, put some things out, and now in the morning you don't have to think about things for the rest of the week. Having a bedtime can create rest. There's a designated time where everything in your life shuts down and you allow your body and brain to rest. Putting bills on auto pay can create rest. You don't got to sit down at the table at the 1st and the 15th and calculate and do this and do this. But a lot of people, the reason why a lot of these things are hard because they require you to relinquish control. And our trauma minds are like, we don't like to give up control because that don't feel good. We don't like that. We don't want to do that. But you gotta let go.
I literally was gonna say that, Janae. That's the problem. Because all these right here, not having to think is we don't want to sit with our thoughts because idle mind sometimes is what they say is the devil's playground.
Hmm.
But stillness is required. We need that to prosper. Let's be for real. I finally got to a point where I can rest and not think, but I'm still not where I need to be because I do overthink because of that control. Now that part about bills on auto pay, I have some that's on auto pay and I get mad every time because I want
Hmm.
to be able to control my money. But I'm being honest. I'm being honest. But this is good. This is
Yeah,
good. But
I've been there.
routine can actually be rest is a blessing.
Yeah,
It's a
routine
blessing.
is rest. Yes. Do you think about brushing your teeth? Do you overthink about that and get stressed out? No.
No, but I got to brush. I got to brush that tongue and
We
them
got
teeth.
we got the brush because it's a
Got to
routine.
brush.
It's a habit. We
But
must do it.
do you feel like we're wired to do that though, or no? Was that a
I
learned
wouldn't say we're
behavior?
wired. I mean, you think about it. Most kids don't like, well, some do, but some children don't like brushing their teeth and they grow into
Right.
it. Once you establish that something is something that you're going to do every day, then it becomes easier. It becomes easier. Like a lot of people like, Jenny, I don't know how you do it all.
Right.
I have run a tight ship. I have help. If I showed y'all my calendar, I could show you. You'd be like, oh, it's not that bad. I got Tuesday Talk running every 2 weeks between the one online and the one in person. And I have my husband who takes the girls at night. I wake up in the morning. I work out in the morning at 5:30. I usually start with like a devotional. Like it is the same thing every day. Now every now and then I'll get a curved ball, but and that's the thing too. When you have a routine and you get a curved ball, it's not as daunting because you know you're gonna go right back into your routine.
Right.
It's also easier to know what to say no to because if anything throws you out of your routine, what if you had to do something every morning and you had to sacrifice brushing your teeth? You can easily say no to that, right? No, I got to brush my teeth first.
Right.
I got to because it's something that you are used to doing. You don't need motivation to do it. It's a part of your routine. So, and that's really what we have to do with the things that we find important. That, well, here's it. Not just the things we find important, but the things that help us to live a life that's worth living. That's
Hmm.
it. Are you setting in your routine the things that make life worth living for you? Not life worth being productive in, but you want to wake up and live this life every single day because it's exactly what you want because you designed it. That's how you have to build your routine.
So I have a question though. I'm just like, why do we feel like we have to control all these things? Like, well, for me, well, I can answer for me, but it might not be the same for everybody else. Like for me, there was a point where I didn't have the control. So when I had the opportunity to control certain things in my life, I I went full force. But that that caused me to overthink. It caused me to be overwhelmed and anxiety to rear its ugly head. So now I'm in the opposite. Like you said, I'm trying to build routines and rest in the same breath. So it's just like, oh my God. But I still feel that control trying to creep in, like, oh no, I gotta control this. That wall builds up. So nobody can hurt me and that type of thing.
Well, when you think about like trauma informed care, that's what we call it in therapy. Um, it's when a past painful experience creates a present perceived threat. So when you have something happen to you that has been absolutely unsafe for you, whether that's physically or emotionally or mentally, when something triggers that in your brain and body, you respond as if it is danger. There's never any real danger. It's a perceived threat. That's what we call it.
Mm.
So, and the triggers can be so subtle. And we talked about this. It could be a smell, a sound, a tone of voice. It could be the thought of, if you relinquish control, what if that bad thing happens again? And the crazy part is your body and brain knows it long before your mind does. So a
Wow.
lot of times this survival mode really is protecting you before you even realize what you need protecting from. That's
Right.
getting in your body and really focusing and getting mindful will help you make sense of it. Like, I'm often triggered, and I got to figure out why. I was in the well, I knew why. I went swimming with my girls. Every time I'm in the water with them, I am triggered. I am very triggered. I don't know why. I do know why, because my brain communicates to me that something bad is going to happen to them in the pool. I could reach back and float back and figure out where that fear came from, but it's in me. Maybe it came from a movie. Maybe it came from these stories about these kids drowning in Florida all over the place. But it creates the present perceived threat. And really, there was no danger. They had on floaties. They weren't going nowhere. Hey, they had on floaties, and more than been to swim lessons 3 times. What's wrong with me? you know, that's the power of a perceived threat.
Yeah.
You think it's happening in real time, and your body will respond like it is. So I think the relinquishing control triggers that part of us that makes us think something bad is happening in real time when it's just a perceived threat, and
Perceived
our
threat.
and we don't know the difference.
Right.
Hmm.
That's
All
good.
right. So create default. So this is a nugget for your toolkit. Okay, Janae, you've been talking about the problem. I need you to get solution focused because I need tools. We know we got this problem. What can I do? Yeah, create some defaults. Brushing your teeth is an example of a default. So create some morning defaults beyond brushing your teeth, right? What are 3 things that usually happen first? What do you do? Like, I know I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna brush my teeth, right? I know that I'm gonna go work out. At one point I used to be real late to my workouts. I need to be there about 5:30, get at 5:40 because I didn't have any defaults. So now my defaults is making sure I know where my water bottle is, my keys are, my sneakers are, knowing where my things are. So when I wake up, I brush my teeth, I can get my workout gear. That's a default, right? Knowing where my stuff is. When I don't prepare and I don't know where that stuff is, I'm late. It makes me rush. And here comes survival mode. And you know what survival mode say to me at 5:30 in the morning? Just cancel your workout. And you have to look at that. Sometimes we're giving up on dreams and goals prematurely, not because we don't have the capacity or the wherewithal to do them, but because our process to getting to them is so jacked up. We become burnt out trying to make things happen that we didn't prepare for. So we need to get better prepared and create defaults. Have an after work default. What do you do? What helps you transition from work mode to home mode? Maybe that is bathing your kids as soon as you get in the door. That's my new default. I said, "Oh God, I thank you for this idea because getting them clean right when they get in the door is better than fighting them at 7 o'clock when I'm a little bit more tired." No, we're gonna bathe right at 2:30, 3 o'clock, especially if we ain't going nowhere else. It helps. Evening defaults. What makes tomorrow easier? I have to look at my calendar for tomorrow to prepare my day. I got to look at my daughter's book bag. I got some defaults because you ain't sneaking no toys to school and we ain't going to miss no homework. So, what are your evening defaults that help set up tomorrow? Weekend defaults. When do you reset, prepare, and enjoy yourself? I have to go to church. As for me in my house, we will be in church on Sunday unless we're on a vacation or something. But we are always in church. Church attending church is a default in my household. Um, and preparing and enjoying ourselves. Weekends are for fun. My kids know Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mom, are we going to a splash pad? What we doing this weekend? Because they know we are doing something fun because we focus during the week. And Sunday, I need to get better at this, but Sunday I really need to treat it more as a Sabbath and really take it easy. And I do for the most part, but usually I take them to the park sometimes. And I will put meetings on Sunday. So, what is one decision you're tired of making over and over and over again? That is likely where you want to start. You could put it in the chat, you could just reflect on it. But there's a decision you make. Every time you make it, you want to fight the air. It's annoying. You hate thinking through it. And I know it's probably around dinner for a lot of households. What to eat for dinner? Hey, set a default. What if you ask Chat GPT, one of these AI things, make me a meal plan for Monday to Friday, and you put it on the refrigerator? What if you put the meals on a popsicle stick and everybody get a turn to pull from the bowl every night? Now you have a default and you now have eliminated another decision. What if you make a work uniform? You buy you some khakis and some polos, and you know exactly what you're wearing to work every day. So you don't have to be late and you can go get your Dunkin' Donuts or your Starbucks and be on time. What's something that you are tired of doing over and over? Create a default for it. I remember when I first had children, I never could get to church on time. I just couldn't. And I couldn't figure out why. Lord, why can't I get the church on time? I was not doing Sunday school or nothing. Um, and God told me, Janae, get up earlier. I need to shift my routine. Sometimes when things aren't working, you have to shift the routine. I had to start getting up earlier. I had to start laying everybody's clothes out at night. I had to start doing that. And then things got better. So think about where you want to start with this. And now here's the part that's gonna make you say ouch. I'm coming down somebody road right now, or somebody block that street. Don't create a routine for your fantasy self. Mm.
Ooh,
Because
that's
in your
good.
mind, fantasy you gets up at 5 a.m.,
Huh?
works out, journals, drinks 64 ounces of water every day, meal preps, answers every email, keeps the house spotless, is emotionally available to everybody, reads before bed, and gets 8 hours of sleep. That's
Absolutely not.
that's not realistic. It's great to and some of these things I value, so I try to do it, but I don't do it every day. I do it when I can. I do it when I see the opportunity to do it. But we have to start building routines based on our fantasy self. You're in survival mode, trying to create a routine for someone who's healed and whole and balanced and in their body and present and mindful. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Can I
Yeah.
chime into that?
Yes.
So what it sounds like, it's a part of self-awareness. You got to know who you are. And it goes back to capacity. But for me, I'm a different case. I am very indecisive. So I like how you said, how you would put clothes out in at night. That's something small I could start with. So I won't have to worry about what I'm gonna wear in the morning, you know, because
Mhm.
it's a trickle down effect for me. If I can't figure out what I'm gonna wear, it'll cause me to be behind on something else. So time
Mhm.
management falters. But I have to realize if I don't get that one decision made, somebody else could be affected. And I guess for me, I think that that would help me if I could just make a decision on one thing, like you said, because I am very indecisive. It everything else will fall into place.
And what the indecision is telling me is that you're overthinking.
Absolutely,
Yeah, you're overthinking.
absolutely.
And we gotta stop the thinking because that's where the rest is. The rest is happens when you stop overthinking, right? So
Hmm.
imagine you're trying to get, I'm just putting myself in your shoes. You're trying to
Right.
get ready for work. You're overthinking about what to wear. You're already mentally exhausted before you've even started your day. You already tired, upstairs tired, right? And then you think you're gonna go through your day and be balanced and well. Of course, you can regulate yourself eventually, but what if you can start your day in chi and balance and peace because you made a work uniform or because you picked out Monday through Friday's attire for the whole week? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm my worst critic. I'll say that honestly. But I know where that stems from. Childhood, but just really identify what's real and what's not the truth.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak to what you just shared about you being your worst critic. I'm a
Okay.
I'm a I'm gonna bring up something here that I wrote. But
Okay.
now I'm gonna circle back to that. Make your routine realistic enough to repeat. That's it. Make your routine realistic enough to repeat. That's why I say have one or two defaults in each section. Not you're not gonna do all this stuff that your fantasy mind is telling you. And believe it or not, that fantasy thing, that's trauma. Because trauma wants you to be perfect because when you're perfect, nothing hurts you. Right? You can't be that way. And here's a nugget for you. I want y'all to lean in on this. Everything cannot be a priority. It can't be. And that's what your survival voice is like, hey, this is important. Do it fast, do it quick, do it now. Think about this. If everything is important, then nothing is actually a priority. What's the priority if everything is prioritized? Which it can't be. Then what's unprioritized? Everything can't be a priority. That thought that everything is so important is a trauma response. That is your trauma voice whispering in your ear, do this or else. Do this or else. So I created some to do categories for you. And of course, there may be more, but this is what I'm highlighting today. And first, I want you guys to recognize that we really need to prioritize what's essential. There's a book called Essentialism. I forget the author, but you might want to get it. It teaches us that we need to do what's essential. This genuinely needs my attention. That is what essential. It needs your energy. It needs your attention. Um, Another category is important but not now. It matters, but it can wait. So these are things that you need to get off the to do list. At one point in my life, I had about 4 or 5 books on there. Ma'am, who are you fooling? Get those books off the to do list. Not right now. These are great ideas, but where you are in this season, those books need not be on your to do list because they're not what's essential. Not right now. There is the nice to do category. I'd like to do it, but life will continue if I don't. Get it off the to do list. Or why don't you make a to do list for each of these categories so you can keep them categorized? And maybe as you begin to shift in seasons, you can move certain things to the essential list, delete some things. And then there's the not mine list. This is the one I really want you to pay attention to. I picked this up because somebody asked, expected, assumed, or guilted me into it. This last category is what will wear us out, the not mine category. What is not yours that you didn't even ask to pick up that you can put down? Maybe it's a family expectation. Maybe it's a church expectation. Maybe it's something you told yourself you better do or you'll be inadequate. Maybe it's something you're telling yourself you got to do or people won't love you as much. And this is the trauma voice talking to you. But put the not mine list is really the one we want to burn and get rid of. It's killing us. We are running around doing things that are not even really making a difference in our wellness. All right. The do I really need to do this formula? It might be like, Janae, you giving me some tools today, but how do I know if I really need to do it? Because my mind has a tricky way of convincing me that stuff that ain't important is really important. How can I know? Well, I'm glad you asked. So before automatically saying yes to things that your brain says you better do this or else, you got to ask yourself, does it matter? Does this connect to something genuinely important to me? Not what you've been taught to make important, not what someone is convincing you is important. On a regular, smegular, sunny day, what is genuinely important to you without outside influence? Ask yourself, does it need to happen now? Important doesn't always mean urgent. The books are great. They might change lives, but they are not urgent. They don't need to happen now. And that's why I took them off my list, right? Does it need to be me? Ooh, that's coming down somebody's road. I don't know who I hit, but does it need to be me? Do you know how many humans are on this earth that are capable, willing, able? And if they ain't able, they can get able. We got to start letting other people show up. And here's what helps me to fall back to let other people show up. If I keep showing up, then I enable people to stay stuck and not being able. So if I fall back, I am now contributing to the growth and development of someone else. That's what helps me fall back. Can somebody else do it? If the answer is yes, please ask them. Please let them. The next one, what happens if I don't? Now, this is good because sometimes your trauma will answer that question for you. They won't love you no more. They won't like you anymore. They'll be mad at you. If there's a real consequence, is there a real consequence or am I uncomfortable disappointing someone else? Mm. Am I uncomfortable disappointing someone else? The answer has to be yes. We have to get comfortable making other people uncomfortable. We have to. They'll get over it. They have to deal with that discomfort. You are not a Tylenol. You should not be someone else's pain reliever all the time. It's exhausting. Can it be easier? Now, trauma shows up here too. And I have this. Let me tell you, my trauma is a big planner. She got wine taste and beer bottle money. She can plan some of the grandest things. They're expensive. They take a lot of time. They good, but I don't have the resources, the time, or the capacity to bring a lot of that stuff to fruition. I wish y'all could be a fly on the wall when I'm doing a DIY birthday party for one of the girls or planning something. Um, I end up having to stop. Half of the stuff I think of, I can't even do. It's just too grandiose. The grandiosity of what we do comes from trauma. And it is great in certain realms, and in other realms, it's just exhausting. Can I shorten it, delegate it, automate it, combine it, buy it, or simplify it? Those are the questions you should be asking. And I am in a season of make life easier. Make it easier. And not just easier as far as convenience, but easier as far as how much I have to think about it. Because remember, the overthinking is why we're not resting. So if I can give it to someone and let them handle it, great. If I could, instead of cutting things out by hand, find a cutting tool that would do 100 pages at once, that's it. That's what I'm doing. So once you ask yourself all of these questions, and I mean really sit down with a piece of paper and ask yourself these questions, you have four things you need to decide. You need to decide if you're going to do it, delegate it, delay it, or drop it. Do it, delegate it, delay it, or drop it.
Hey, can I chime in real quick? Get some of these comments. To that question of do I really need to do this? Lucretia says sometimes they're able to do it and won't, so it leaves you to do it. So I
Mm.
guess in that you feel like it's your responsibility to get it done.
And here's my thing: you always have a choice.
Always have a choice.
You
Ain't that the
always have,
beauty of it?
yeah, you always have a choice. Are you okay with letting that ball drop? Everybody else okay with it? Why it bother you so much? That's the question I ask myself. Why is that ball dropping bothering me so much? But everybody else happy, skipping. They ain't even worried about the balls. I'm the only one stressing, overthinking, worrying about the balls dropping. What is it about me where that ball dropping is activating my nervous system to a point where I need to get up and do something about it or else? And I'm me personally, I'm trying to heal those parts of me. I don't want a ball dropping always to be my trigger. I don't want to be controlled by that. I want to be content letting things happen as well. There's some things happening in my personal life right now, and there was a version of me that would always show up and rescue it. There's some things happening with relatives, and I have not been responsive. They are suffering, and I'm just praying for them. I have not showed up with money or a solution or over committing or over functioning. I have literally been in my body watching myself rest while my family members figure things out that I used to figure out for them.
It's a boundary.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
It's beyond a boundary. It's an opportunity.
Mm,
That's it. Healing is an opportunity. It's a like the universe will give you opportunities to take better care of yourself. You got to
right.
be present enough to see it and then take it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we know that everything isn't our responsibility, yet we don't act like we know. Like the opportunity is acting like you know that not everything is on your back. All right. So some of
Healing
y'all,
is an opportunity. Wait a
yeah, it
minute.
is.
You just skipped up. Wait a minute.
Oh,
I gotta let that rest on me. Healing is an opportunity. So that means we all have access to that.
absolutely. Yes, healing is an opportunity. Yes.
Woo, that's helping me. Thank you.
Mhm. Now I'm going to talk bad about y'all a little bit. Some of y'all are tired for being too available. We are too available. Too available. The phone rings, we answer it, or we get a text, we text back. Somebody needs help. I'm coming, no problem, I'll be there. Work needs one more thing. Sure, I got it. I'm going to do it. The family asks, okay, I got it. I'm going to show up. Your friend needs to vent. Call me. I'm there. Church needs somebody. I'll do it. Pick me, please. We're too available. Way too available. Yes, it's great to help people. But remember, your purpose has limits. How you support other people has limits. Your service has limits. Remember, God doesn't want us serving Him burnt out and tore down. So just remember that we can't be too available. You know, I pride myself in trying not to be too available. I think I used to be extremely responsive. That's what I call it, being highly responsive. Now I'm just medium responsive. I pulled it in a little bit. I'm only that way now with the business, but other areas of my life, I let it sit. I don't always respond, and I used to feel guilty about not responding. But sometimes I don't have the capacity. You don't want me to text you back when I don't have the capacity. I don't know what I'm talking about. You might not like what I say, so please let me not text you back sometimes. So, where in your life, and you don't have to answer this in the chat, maybe you can just sit with it. Where in your life have people gotten used to having unlimited access to you? Just think about that. Where is it where people know when they call you, you answering? And decide what you're going to do about that. I'm not telling anybody to change or stop, but just think about how you can make a slight adjustment. Here's something else that you guys are probably not expecting me to say. Stop giving everything your best. I'm going to repeat that. Stop giving everything your best. That's trauma. Who shows up 100% on 10 everywhere all the time, 24/7? People try, but that's exhausting and it's not realistic. Everything does not deserve your best energy. No, it doesn't. I know we talk about Black excellence and we talk about, and honestly, some of that is trauma. You know, we talk about Black girl magic, we talk about all these things, and we put stars on people's paper for striving to be the best at everything all the time. But it really is toxic. Some things deserve excellence. Some things deserve attention. And some things just need to be done. And I'll explain what done means. Done, you need to be able to complete the task. Like black black excellence, you got to keep trying and working at that. That's never done. You when are you going to stop being excellent? When are you going to be black and rested? Not just black and excellent. When are you going to be black and well? Not black and busy and booked. Yes, we need to be done. We need to find time to say this is done and we need to rest. So be done. Keep things simple. Dinner can be simple. We don't always have to cook 10 things, 2 meats. That's too much. That's why you're exhausted. We do talk about that grandiosity from earlier. The house can look lived in. You don't have to clean up every hour. You can buy The cupcakes. You don't have to bake the cupcakes all the time. Give yourself a break. That email can be 3 sentences. You do not have to write a dissertation to get your point across. Keep it simple. You can stop over explaining. You can stop overthinking about, well, what if I say it this way? What they gonna think about me? Should I reword it? You can wear that outfit again. You don't have to keep buying clothes over and over and over and over again. You about to say something?
You know it. Before we keep going, look, I just want you to know that you freed somebody. Stop giving everything your best. And you know, a lot of that is because someone, it could have been a family member, made us, I'm gonna say us because me too, made me feel like we could be mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I grew up with a teacher for an auntie, a guardian. I couldn't bring home a C. Oh no. Heaven forbid, God forbid, you bring home a C. So that's that overthinking. That's where some of that came from.
Mm-hmm.
That everything had to be, I don't want to say perfect, but to the extent of perfection. But you just freed us. You don't
Yeah.
have to do that.
No.
You can fail,
Yeah.
but just don't stay there. That's the key. Don't
I
stay
wouldn't
there.
even call it failing because there is some beauty between being excellent and failing. Like there's a lot. There's a lot in between that, right?
Right.
Like you don't have to give your best. Why can't you just be? Why
Just be.
whatever you want to show up with today? Why can't that be enough?
Why can't it be enough, Janae?
Why can't it be
Why
enough?
can't
It is enough. It's
it
enough.
is?
You know why it's enough? Because I get to determine what's enough.
That's right.
I get to determine that. And that's one thing that we don't realize. A lot of these social pressures we give permission to allow to manifest in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We can set the standard. We can say, I'm okay being this way. I'm okay. When I was a therapist, I knew I wasn't going to be the therapist that wore a 3-piece suit and a clipboard. And I knew that wasn't going to be me. That's not my personality. I'm not wearing no suit. You're going to come in here and I'm going to be in my Target dress and my flip flops. You know,
I
I'm
know
gonna,
that's right.
that is me. And there was do you know, at one point in my career, because I worked in a hospital for many years, and a hospital would get us white coats because we were clinical. I was going to get my staff and me white coats. That's performative. That's not even me. And I just couldn't. But think about all the things in your life that society or social norms have convinced you that you need to do to be excellent, or you're not. And you succumb to them, you comply with them, you conform with them. It is not even you. You're not even being authentic.
Right.
I would imagine if you guys self-reflected on what that looks like for you, there's some things you might consider changing to be more authentic, and you feel so much better. You feel so much at home and whatever you were doing. Um, you know what? I think I'm gonna try to segue into what I wanted to share with you, and it's something I wrote.
What you mean talk about the criticism?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I love the circle back. Very good.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I'm my worst critic. That's what I said. I said I'm my worst critic. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
said. Yes, ma'am. Free me.
Just give me a moment. Feel free to ask me something while I multitask.
Okay. What did it take for you to get to the point where you didn't feel like you had to be so excellent with everything? What was that aha moment, that light bulb that
I think it was being therapist. Like I was exhausted.
okay.
I was exhausted with trying to keep up,
Mm,
and I didn't feel home. Like I didn't feel at home in what I was doing.
I got
Um,
you.
so I had to affirm my identity. I had to affirm
Mm,
who I wanted to be, and then when I did that, it felt good. I feel like, I mean, I don't want to say I'm a good therapist. I feel like I'm an effective therapist because I'm authentic.
that's
Like
good.
this is me. Like I'm me. I tell my own stories. I don't act like I got it all together. I'm a hot mess sometimes. Sometimes I'm great. I'm transparent, and I think people who are getting healed like that authenticity. So I just got tired. When I first started doing therapy, I had a clipboard with a roadmap for every client of what I was going to say, what I was going to do. And it didn't feel the stress of having to look at a clipboard and remember things was just too much. Now I can come in here and really drop into my body and meet people where they are and just listen to them and just respond to what's happening in the room. And I would say that for me, how I became the therapist that I am today is the example. So I'm going to read something I wrote. Um, Yesterday, someone asked me, how do I hold myself accountable? What do I use? I paused, and in about 5 seconds, all of the moments in my own life where I pushed myself, berated myself, and became my own drill sergeant flashed through my mind. I asked them, do you want to be kind to yourself or push yourself? I suggested a workbook for self kindness and jokingly but seriously said, for accountability, just get a whistle. We love pushing ourselves into change. We berate, pressure, criticize, and demand more of ourselves, rarely considering that there may be another way. What if we stopped trying to push ourselves into change and started loving ourselves into transformation?
Mm.
So that is what I wrote. So the inner critic, not everything needs a critique.
Yeah.
Some things just are. We're just growing. We live in such a transactional society. Like, and I think this is coming up in my presentation, but it's like I can't rest unless I burn myself out. So literally, we reward ourselves with rest after we burn out.
Mm.
But you can rest while you can rest now. You can rest before you get burned out. You can rest. Hey, you can rest before and after you rest. Like there's no rule book on when we rest, but there's something about how we've been conditioned where everything is so transactional.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can't do this unless that. And I'll say that mindset is human. It's not kingdom mindset.
Right.
Because God said we could do all things through him, right? All
That's
things.
right.
He didn't say you can rest if you do all things. You can rest. Whatever you need, he will give you. But our mindsets are just so warped as humans. So that's what I wanted to share with you.
I
So
appreciate that.
love yourself into transformation. Don't bully yourself into change.
Mm.
Yes. And here it is. Rest does not have to be earned. It is not a paycheck for the life you're living. It is a gift. It is a compliment. It goes with it is a companion. It's a built-in companion, not a paycheck. So a brief 7-day reset for you all. Here's another tool for you. This week, choose just 3 things. Make one thing easier. What can I simplify? Make one thing automatic. What repeated decision can become a routine? Maybe an automated bill pay. Remove one thing. What are you doing that doesn't really need your energy right now? Make one thing easier, make one thing automatic, and remove one thing. Very practical, very easy, very doable. All right, now this is a let's talk about it. I want to pull you in, and then we're gonna go right into our true false and round out tonight. So let's talk about this. Think about these. I'm gonna go A through F, and I want you to determine which one hits you the hardest. Whichever one hits you the hardest, I want you to put that alphabet in the chat. A, I wait until I feel motivated. B, I try to do too much. C, I have trouble telling people no. And I recognize some of you may have multiple alphabets. D, I feel guilty when I rest. E, I start routines but don't maintain them. F, I make simple things harder than they need to be. Got a CD, got an E. Whatever you put in the chat or you plan on putting in the chat, that's where you want to start doing your work. That's what you want to focus on. Get to the elephant in your room. Why is this thing coming up for me? Why is this the hardest thing for me? Think about what you would change in your life if you worked on that one thing. What would change for you? You could self help. You can think through this. You could journal through this. Maybe you might need a therapist. I'm not going to say you do. Maybe you might need to consult with a friend to kind of help you work through this. But get some support. It's time to get back to a place of balance. It's time to get back to a place where chaotic productivity is not ruling and dominating over our lives. So here's a true false, and we're going to end the night by checking your understanding. I want to make sure you leave with something new that you can share and that you can chew on even when we're not together for the next month. True or false? I should wait until I feel motivated to get started. Is that true or false? That is false. We don't need motivation, but it would be nice to have a routine so you don't have to have motivation. A good routine should make life easier. Is that true or false? That is true. The routine is the rest, and the rest is the routine. If it's important, it needs to be done right now. Is that true or false? That's false. That's false. Some important things we can table. Essential things we do. Rest should be part of my routine. That is true. Everything important has to be done by me. That's false. Get some help. There's a lot of other humans on this earth that need to develop and learn. Doing the smaller version still counts. Absolutely. Everything doesn't have to be grand and big. That's true. And last but not least, everything important deserves 100% of my effort and energy. False. Stop giving your best energy. So at this time, I'm going to open up for questions, thoughts, or feedback. And thank you for your time. I know you guys have asked a lot in the chat. And thank y'all for showing up and for participating. And Pastor Shamira, you were amazing. You were a great uh, partner in tonight.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind. It's always a pleasure dialoguing with you. And I learned a lot on tonight. Yeah, y'all put some claps in the chat, some hearts. Thank you, Janae.
I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. So
Uh-oh.
what's your takeaway? What are you taking away tonight?
Man. What you read about the inner critic, something that I didn't realize I dealt with, but the fact that you brought it back up, that things are not transactional. I don't have to give to receive. And that has been one of the most hardest things in my life, but I'm breaking that barrier. I don't have to do that to get the best version of me. Sometimes I just can just be authentically who I am. You brought that up and realize what the capacity you have. That's what that doesn't lead to burnout. Saying no, no, I cannot, not at this time, and
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. Not feeling guilty about your no. So,
Right.
so those are some of my takeaways. Yeah, and not overthinking things. Get out of
Mm-hmm.
my head. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
So I guess we don't have any questions. No questions. Nothing's burning on the inside. Y'all have any questions? Yeah, they have been asking throughout, but
Yeah, they have been. And we went over just a little bit, but that's okay.
it was phenomenal. It was worth it.
Mhm.
But again, thank you so much, Janae. I'm sure I'll be able to do this again with you. it was a
Absolutely.
great, it was a great dialogue. Yes, yes, ma'am. Um, who's that? No, no problem, no problem. You can always watch the playback, Marianne Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
You can
That's my
always watch the
critic.
playback. Absolutely. That's your friend?
My sister friend. Yep.
All right. Yes, indeed. We appreciate you. Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, if no questions, we are about to close out. Thank you again, Janae. I appreciate you. See my people on there. Hey, Dashay. Oh, here's a question. All
Oh,
right.
what's a way to face the mirror you keep avoiding? I
Ooh.
think the answer's in the question. I think we just have to face it. Then we have to face it, and it's hard. Stay and face it and let God grace it. When it says sit in your feelings, that's what they mean. Sit and face it. You have to face it because the breakthrough is in the exposure to the thing you've been avoiding.
Mm.
That's pretty much exposure therapy. When you expose yourself to the thing you've been avoiding, you give yourself an opportunity to grow beyond that, right? You recognize why it hurts or why it's a trigger. You then can adjust to that. You can make meaning of it. You understand it more, and then you grow beyond it. So I know it's easy to sit here and just say that to you, but that's the answer. Face it. Whatever you've been avoiding, face it. But before you face it, it's also important to make sure you have some good calming techniques in your toolkit. A lot of times they teach us when we're exposing someone to maybe trauma that they have to have tools to relax themselves so they don't have a ab reaction. That's what we call it. So you want to make sure that you have a support system or coping mechanisms before you face that thing in place first before you do it. What are some tips on managing triggers? So some tips on managing triggers. To be honest, you must first recognize them and name them. So the number one tip I would say is rest. When I started to rest more, I got so much clarity on like when I was triggered and what was triggering me, and I was able to say, this is the thing that's triggering me. When you don't rest and don't take it easy, and you don't self reflect, you kind of got an idea, you comb over it, and you can't really name it specifically. You might say my childhood trauma, but you can pinpoint it down to the experience when you slow down and you rest. And then you can come up with a game plan of how you want to move forward. Yeah, get some sleep. Yep. Take a vacation, take a sabbatical. I say a brain break if you can't. If you don't have time to do that, just take a day or a morning where you can rest and relax. Get a massage to help your body kind of relax. Aromatherapy is good too, but I would say rest is the number one thing I would prescribe for you. So that way your brain can have the capacity to even work through trying to understand what's happening on the inside of you.
I'll piggyback on that. Exercise because it releases
Mhm.
those dopamine levels. Meditation, believe it or not, just calming your, like you said, calming your brain and your breathing down. That's some of the things I've done that has helped some of my triggers.
Hey, and sometimes I'm be honest, sometimes the re-exposure to them make you sick and tired of being sick and tired. I tell a lot of my clients all the time, this thing that's keeping this problem in your life, it's gonna happen again. And I low key want it to happen again. Because every time it happens to you, something in you grows. You get a little bit more tired. You get a little bit more, I want to get out of this situation. So sometimes the hell we're in will be a motivating factor to trying to figure out what's happening. So there's that too.
Absolutely. All right.
All right, well, you guys be blessed, and I guess I will turn it over to Pastor Shamira to pray us out.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before I do that, guys, again, put some hand claps in the chat, some hearts. Wasn't this a phenomenal, phenomenal dialogue and conversation? Things that we needed. Even go back and watch this, just for days to come when you have issues with burnout. Okay. If you would like to give or so into what was given on tonight, our giving platform, Cash App, LFRCI, Zelle, LFR Church, INT at gmail.com, Venmo, Givelify, Autobooks. All the giving platforms are on the screen if you would like to give. God loves a cheerful giver, and we thank God for the the blessing of Janae that she gave on tonight. Also, Thursday night, y'all, please tune in. We will have Bible study at 7:30 p.m. We are continuing on our series of spiritual maturity, building a healthy church. Please tune in, tune in, tune in. God got something good for you guys. Okay. I just love you all, and I thank you all for the continual support on tonight and other nights that we have things going on. So I'm going to close out in prayer. If all hearts and minds are clear, God, we just thank you for the dialogue and the conversation tonight, just learning about different tools to overcome burnout and to become more healthy and self-aware of the things that we need to be better versions of ourselves and actually leaning into what our body needs. God, we just thank you for always being in our midst. God, we thank you for the vessel of Janae. God, we thank you for Bishop Elect for even having this platform. God, we just honor you for trusting us to do your will. God, we don't take it for granted. We don't take your love for granted. So I just ask that you keep your people on tonight. Anything that they're dealing with that they may not have shared in the chat, God, I ask that you meet them where they are. I ask that you cover them with your full armor of God, the helmet of salvation that protects their mind, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the foot shot of peace, the sword in the spirit, and the shield of faith. God, surround them with your angels, angels of peace. Let them get sweet rest on tonight. God, we bless you, we honor you, and we thank you. In Jesus' name, I do pray. Amen. Remember, this is a place that love never expired. And I hope you felt the love on tonight. God bless y'all. Have a good night. See you soon.